Hello. Hello. Can you hear me? Hello, good morning.
Good morning, ma'am.
Yeah, good morning. I hope you can hear me clearly.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Yes, good morning, Aditya. Good morning, Pritha, Karmanya, Manya. Tutor for you today. Good morning, Pahi. I can see Pahi on the screen. Good morning, Pahi.
Good morning, ma'am.
Okay. So, yes, Pahi, I think you were there earlier.
No, ma'am. This is my
No,
first
right?
lecture.
This is your first lecture. Okay. So you missed quite a bit. So have you spoken to sir about whatever you missed out on?
Yes.
Okay, we'll have a look at it. So you are from
Kharghar only.
Kharghar only. Okay. Okay. Did you attend the maths lecture yesterday?
Yes, I did.
Okay. Fine. Okay, so yeah, today we're going to have the lecture all online. So I hope it won't be a problem for anyone. Yeah. So Karmanya, Pritha, Sneha, who else is there? Aditya, Manya. Okay, everyone, can they? It is advisable to have your videos on so we can interact properly, right?
My videos on.
Yeah, your videos on. I'm talking about the ones who don't have the videos on. Yes, Manya, can I have your video on, please? So were you able?
Unwell today, so is it okay if I keep my video off for this?
Well, it will be good to. Doesn't matter if you're unwell. That's okay.
Okay.
At least I can see you and I can focus on you, right? Okay. So last time I had given you some homework, right? We had done some of the exercises of sentence completion in class and some you had to do. So were you able to do them? Yes, who did them?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, Aditya, were
Yes,
you
ma'am.
able to do them?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you have any doubts?
No, ma'am.
No? So all of them you did, or you still some of them to do?
1, 2, 3.
1, 2, 3 you did. Okay, that's good. And 4, 5, no, which one? So you did session 12 or you did
Session 11.
session 11. Session 12 we still have to do. So session 11 is jumbled up. Okay, so exercise 4. Okay, in exercise 3, did you have any problem? Anyone, Karmanya?
I attempted 1, 2, and 5.
You attempted which one?
1, 2, and 5. I mean,
1,
1
2,
was done
and
already.
1 we
2 and
did.
5.
2 and 5. Okay. So 3 and 4 you still have to do, right?
Yes.
Okay. So any doubts you had?
Not in the second one, but yeah, in the fifth one.
In the fifth one. Okay. So in the fifth one, can you tell me what doubts you had?
I had question number 4
Question
and even
number
question number 12.
4, 12. Okay. Any other?
And even question number
Yes, I couldn't get that.
question number 6.
6. Okay, we'll discuss those. 1 minute. Let me get other people's doubts. Okay, so anybody else with doubts? Manya, did you do the exercises? Did you try them?
Yes, ma'am.
So were you able to do all of them?
No, I had a few doubts.
Okay, can you tell me which doubts you have so that I can discuss all the doubts together?
Yes, ma'am.
So which one? Exercise number? Yes, Manya, exercise number?
Ma'am, I had that one doubt, but I searched. I searched on the internet, so I got it.
Okay,
Yeah.
fine. So anybody else with any doubts? No?
Ma'am, I had one in exercise 3, question number 19.
Exercise 3.
2, sorry, 2. Exercise 2.
Exercise 2. Exercise 2, question number 19.
19.
Okay. So now nobody else has any doubts which we can discuss? Tanvi? Yes, Tanvi, Ades, Neha, Pritha, can you all have your videos on, please? But then I can't make out whether you're responding or not. Right? Okay, so we will begin with exercise 2, right? So exercise 2, any other doubts anyone has? No? Okay. So exercise 2, we have this one, question number 19. Yes, Aditya?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So now here, the 1 minute, I'll just share the screen so that you can all see. I hope you can all see the screen, right? Okay. Now here we have question number 19. The citizenry had become so dashed by the government's dash that the latest financial scandal did not even make the front page of the newspapers. So if you see the context of the sentence, it is something about the financial scandals were maybe way too much and way too common that it didn't even make it to the front page of the newspapers, right? Now, if you look at the options, there are quite a few words which maybe we don't know the meanings. So now what do we do? Now, if we look at the words, fascinated. Now, if we see, the citizens had become so dashed by the government's dash. So what type of words would go in? There will be negative words, number 1. Yeah. So if you're going with negative words, A can be eliminated because we don't want something that is fascinating. Yeah, they were not fascinated. Now, they were so disgusted could be. Yeah. Now but the second word, now both words have to be correct. Now, peccadillos, what does that mean? Any idea? So all those who have done number 2, did you look up the meanings? Yes, Karmanya, did you look up the meanings?
Peccadillos means small mistakes.
Yeah. So peccadillos is small mistakes. So would you go with small mistakes over here?
No.
No, right? So we can, though disgusted could be, but sure enough, we are not talking about small mistakes. We are talking about things which have been happening for a long time, or something which the government is not taking action against. Yeah. Citizens have become so dashed by the government's dash that the latest financial scandal did not even. So distraught could be magnanimity. Government's magnanimity would be a positive word. So we will not go with C, right? Regretful and personification, do they go in? Absolutely not. So what are we left with? Jaded and indiscretions. Now what does jaded mean? What would jaded mean?
Tired.
Tired, yeah? They were fed up of. And indiscretions that the government did not take any discrete
careful
steps
about something.
against the financial scandals, right? So now E is your answer, right? So now even if we don't know all the meanings, of course, if we don't know peccadillos, then we would have gone with disgusted. But of course, the meanings are important. But we have, what did we do? We first went with what type of word is required. So we can eliminate the words which are will not fit in any way. So between positive and negative words, we would eliminate the positive words if we require negative words. Yes, Nishi, are you saying something?
No, ma'am, I'm reading the questions.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Now next we have. So any other doubts in exercise 2? No. Okay. Now exercise 3. Any doubts? No. No one has any doubts in exercise 3? Sneha? No? Rita? Did you do exercise 3? No? You don't seem to be familiar with this exercise. Okay, now if you haven't done them, please do them, because this is the practice is what is important. Okay, now coming to exercise 4. Okay, no one came up with any doubts in exercise 4? Anyone has doubts in exercise 4? Tanvi? No?
Did you have to do all the exercises for homework?
Yeah, see, this is because you have to do this for homework, because that is your practice, right?
Yeah.
When you practice, you come up with doubts, and that's where we can clear your doubts. Yeah, if you don't practice, then you would be getting into the exam without being thorough with what you are doing. So practice is required. That's why we have put in lots of exercises. Now all these exercises we will not be doing in class, because we will be working on strategies. For every session we will be working on strategies, and practice you have to do, right? And the main purpose for giving you so many exercises in each of the sessions is to make you practice. So exercise 4, anybody didn't do, can you raise your hand if you haven't done it? Yes, Karmanya, okay. You did exercise 5, not 4, okay. Anybody else who hasn't done exercise 4? So Preeta, Sneha, Tanvi, all of you have done it? Yes, Preeta? Okay, yes, Adesh. So Adesh, please do it till at least over the week, so that you can come up with your doubts also. Okay, now since we have a few doubts in exercise 5, we will go to that. Okay, exercise 5, question number 4. Right? Now, so Karmanya, what was the problem you faced over here? In understanding the question or in the words themselves?
I think the options.
The options. Okay. So which option did you choose? Anyway, option A.
Option A.
Okay. So let's see if why you. Okay. So here the options. Let's see. So the dash and dash happenings in many talk shows annoy many viewers, right? So something that annoys viewers. So the dash and dash happenings. So something that is going on that annoys the viewers in the talk shows, right? So when you're talking about happenings, what would you get? Would it be aggravating and irritating happenings? Hmm?
I mean, why not?
It could be, but irritating would be aggravating. Would it be possible to have aggravating? Now, suppose you're talking about a talk show. What goes on in a talk show which would irritate you or annoy you? Now, see, which annoys many viewers. Now, irritating and annoying is almost the same, right? So, if we say the aggravating and irritating happenings annoys many viewers, it is sort of repeating the same thing, right? So I think irritating we would avoid in this case. Now, trite and predictable. Now, if something is predictable, would it annoy you? Maybe it would bore you.
Yes.
Yeah. Now,
Yes, it would.
trite, have you looked up the meaning of trite? Have you written it down? No? So do you know the meaning of trite?
I think it means bore only.
Right? Okay. Let's see what trite actually would be in this context. So sometimes it happens that even the context could be a little different. Now, trite is usually something which is trivial, not very serious. So anyone did this question? Yeah, trite
Google
is
says
boring.
boring and dull.
Yeah, boring and dull. So something that is boring and dull would now boring and predictable. That also could be annoying, but would predictable be annoying? Yeah.
I mean, if the person knows what's coming next.
Yeah.
So
So
it would be.
it would be boring. If it is predictable, it would be boring. But would it lead to annoying? Would you be really annoyed? Yeah, because this question is a little like not very clear about the options. It could be a little confusing. They do give some of the questions which are confusing in the options, and like all of them seem to be fitting in, but there is little things which go into which we, if we analyze, we could eliminate. Yeah. Now, happy and playful, of course, will not be the answer. Dramatic and eventful would not annoy you. Now, between trite, predictable, aggravating, irritating, and ranting and jocular. So there are some talk shows where maybe the host or somebody is just speaking too much, and you think it is annoying. Could be, right? And jocular, like too much of it's not really serious. So maybe a particular talk show, say a TED talk, which is supposed to be serious, that could turn into jocular and could be annoying. So if you say aggravating, now talk shows aggravating, would they be aggravating? So we have to look at the happenings in the context of talk shows. Now, if it is aggravating, then yeah, it could be annoying. But irritating and annoying were the same, so we anyway eliminated this. So now we have ranting, jocular, and trite, predictable. So if it is boring and predictable, so if it is predictable, it could be boring. Yeah, but which one would annoy you more, whether if it is boring or if it is too much of ranting and jocular when it is not required to be? Yes,
Ranting.
ranting would be more irritating, right? So in that case, we will go with ranting. So this type of questions require a little bit more of analysis to eliminate options, right? Okay, next was number 6 you had. So we have just one blank. Okay. So what answer did you choose for 6? Because also,
Protracted. Option B, protracted.
option B, protracted. Okay. So it says most of the settlements that grew up near the longing camps were dash affairs thrown together in a hurry because people needed to live on the job. Yeah. So what is the context over here?
Basically, the illegal constructions of one.
Yeah. So like the settlements were put up, thrown together in a hurry because people needed to live. So it was not properly planned out, right? So if it is not properly planned out, then what do you expect? It's not properly planned out. Maybe they are temporary constructions. So nomadic will not be. Unobstructive also not be. It could be obstructing something because it is not planned out. Uncouth means unwanted. So we will rule out that. Now between rickety and protracted. Now what does protracted mean? Did you look up the meaning?
Something permanent.
Protracted means something which is got from something else. And that would be extracted. Yeah, protracted is
Lasting
something
for a long
permanent, lasting
time.
for a longer time. So would these temporary constructions last for a long time? Most settlements that grew up near the longing camps were dash affairs thrown together in a hurry. So if they're thrown together in a hurry because people needed to live on the job, most probably there were temporary arrangements, not properly built, right? So in that case, we will not go with protracted because protracted would be something would last a long time. So rickety would fit in best in this case. Yeah, rickety is something which is quite not very well made, which could fall off any time. Got it? Okay, next you had a problem with number 12. I hope everybody else is also taking note of this, because if when you start doing these exercises, you will also come up with the same doubts. Okay, number 12. It says as many students know or an response is skillfully worded can imply at least a superficial dash of knowledge about the subject. As many students know, a dash response, if skillfully worded. So something which, if skillfully worded,
Is it A?
can imply at least a superficial dash of knowledge. Could be, because the first one seems to fit in. ambiguous response, skillfully worded, it can imply a superficial, at least a superficial dash, veneer of knowledge. Yeah, some, because if we look at superficial, lack of knowledge will not go, and elegant response or will not be the answer. Inarticulate and superficial piece of knowledge about the subject doesn't really make sense. Yeah. Garbled and superficial ignorance of knowledge about the subject. No. If we're talking about superficial means you are talking about that the person makes it seem that he knows. Yeah. So A will be the correct answer. Ambiguous response if skillfully worded, because it is not clear, but you have worded in such a way that it seems very good and like it shows that you have enough knowledge, right?
Could you explain the reason for C, option C?
Option C we did not take. Inarticulate. Now if we say inarticulate means it is not clear anyway, right? And okay, even if we take inarticulate, it says can imply at least a superficial piece of knowledge about the subject. Does piece make sense over here? Yeah, it would rather be
doesn't.
like yeah, so just a piece of knowledge doesn't really make sense, so we can eliminate. Okay, so any other? I think number 12 we've done, so no more doubts here. Exercise 6 has anybody done? No one? Anybody who has done exercise 6? No? Okay, before moving on to session 17, then we will do one thing. We'll do exercise 6 together, right? Now, what you are going to do is, how many minutes do you think you would be getting for each question?
45 seconds.
For 30 to 45 seconds, right? So now, usually they had about 40 minutes for 40 questions, but this year IPM had, the Indore one had 45 questions in 40 minutes. Yeah, so that amounts to less than 1 minute per question. So now what you are going to do is, if you look at exercise 6, there are total of 20 questions, right? So I give you, okay, so you first complete till number 10. Sorry. Okay, so till number 10, so 10 questions in say about 7 minutes. Fair enough, right? You can give it a try, see how much you can do. So when you time yourself and practice, slowly you will improve on your timing. Maybe you will not be able to do 10 questions in 7 minutes in the first go, but in the second or third go, you will be improving your timing. So we have to work, we have worked on strategies, how to go about the questions. Now you have to work on timing. So you can begin question number 1 to 10. And I will time you with, so,
I'm going to do the first 10, right?
Yes, first 10.
Okay.
Almost done. Okay, your 7 minutes are over. How many questions left? Yes, Tanvi, how many left?
Ma'am, only one is left.
Okay, good. Pahi, are you able to do them?
Yes, ma'am. Okay.
Okay, so how many left?
3.
Okay. So Manya, how many questions left?
Ma'am, the last 4.
Last four. Last four. Okay. Okay, I'll give you 2 more minutes and see if you can complete. Okay, now can we get to the answers? Doesn't matter if you haven't finished. Now, okay, first thing we will do is we will first analyze that when you are answering the questions. Now, of course, you will not get all of fill in the blanks in your exam, but otherwise also, when you are doing the questions, try to do the easier ones first, the ones you can do. And remember one thing, as in all other exams, don't get stuck and waste time on a particular question if you're not getting the answer, right? So when you're not getting the answer, what do? Move on to the next question, right? Because remember, there are negative marks. And if you are getting an answer wrong or if you are in doubt, leave it be, move on to the next question. You have to get your answers correct. And if in the process of spending too much of time in one of the questions, you are not able to answer the other questions which are comparatively easy, you will be losing out on your points. Okay. So any question that becomes difficult, taking too much of time, let it go, move on. Okay. Okay, now here you came across a lot of difficult words, some easy, some difficult, right? So let's look at the answers now. So number 1, what was your answer? And you can give me your reason also. Yes, Aditya, question number 1.
Ma'am, I'm sorry, wait a minute.
Yeah, no, the question number 1, in poor and developed countries,
Non-existent, sorry.
non-existent. D. Anybody else thinks that is not the answer? Manya, what is your answer to number 1?
No, I couldn't do this.
You couldn't do this?
No.
So what was the problem you faced in this?
Now I couldn't figure out which one fits.
Okay, so now when you say you can't figure out, did you read the sentence carefully, and did you go into the context?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so now okay, wait, I'll get back to you. So Karmanya, did you get the answer for number 1?
Yes.
What's your answer?
Option D only.
Option D. Okay, anybody else who thinks it is not option D? Nishi? It's option D?
Even I think it's option D.
Option D. Okay, now who will explain why option D? Sneha, what's your answer?
Option D only.
Option D. So can you explain why you chose option D?
Ma'am, I found it more relatable. Like it was fitting in the sentence.
Okay. If you think it was fitting in the sentence, so it should be in the context of the sentence, right? Now it
Yes.
says in poor and underdeveloped countries. Yes, Karmanya, you raise your hand.
Yes. I wanted
So
to
do
say
you
that
want to explain?
the
Okay.
sentence is that the trucks are the only means. That means no other transport facilities are available.
Yeah.
And then it says the public transportations being virtually. So yeah, they are not existent. That's why.
They are non-existent. So that is
Public
quite obvious because we will
transportation
not,
are not
if it
exist.
is inadequate, then it will, it says being virtually, like when you say virtually means it is not there, right? So non-existent will come in. Got it? Okay, number 2. Yes, question number 2. Can you give me the answers?
A.
A, inconclusive.
Option A.
Okay. Anybody with a different answer? Yes, Adesh. Adesh, are you there?
Yes.
Yes, Adesh.
Ma'am.
What's your answer to number 2?
Ma'am, A.
A. Yes, yes, A is correct. It says given the dash state of published evidence, we cannot conclude here that exposure of low-level microwave energy is either hazardous or safe. So when you say we cannot conclude, that is the state of published evidence is inconclusive. We will not go with indulgent. Now, if you say immaculate, means it is absolutely clear. Descriptive. There are two descriptives coming in. Okay. So if it is descriptive or immaculate, then we should be able to come to a conclusion, right? So it is inconclusive. Okay, number 3. This was quite easy. Yes, Pahi, what's your answer to number 3? Flamboyant, B, right. So that is like if you see the clothes, the famous designer designs for men are conservatives, but her fashion for women are more. So we are looking for a word which is opposite to conservative, right? So flamboyant would go in. Okay, number 4. Preetha, what's your answer to number 4?
Ma'am, it is frozen and dehydrated.
Frozen and dehydrated. Okay. Any other answer anybody else?
Ma'am, option
Right.
C.
Option
C.
Option C, fragile and shattered. Okay. Any other? Tanvi, what's your answer?
Ma'am, option C.
Option C. Okay. So now, why did you take frozen and dehydrate?
Because in the next sentence it was written below 0 temperature.
So did you read the
Yes,
entire context?
Yeah. But
The
I was with
equipment
C
to-
also. I had a confusion between C and D.
Okay. So now let's look at it. The equipments that were being used in the survey were dash. And because of the below 0 temperature, it was feared that they would freeze. So it was feared that they would freeze, were they already frozen? Yes, would that be an answer in this case?
No, ma'am.
No, right? So they feared that it would freeze. Now icy, so we will eliminate icy, frosty, and useless. We are not talking about something that is useless. And frozen also is eliminated. So only option remains a C anyway. But now we go back to the question. The equipment were fragile. Yeah, the very delicate equipment, and in sub-zero conditions, it was that would they work or not, or if they were frozen, they could shatter. Yeah, that is the answer. Okay, number 5, quickly. Who's going to give me? Who's going to come up with the answer?
A.
A. Okay, you say A. Any other answer? B.
Yeah.
Okay, B. So what else? So who all think it's A? Anybody think it's A? Karmanya, you think it's A, right? Aditya, your answer was
B.
B. Okay. Tanvi?
I think it's B.
You think it's B. Okay. Pritha? Yes, Pritha, your answer to number 5?
Ma'am, I answered it.
Okay, you answered. Okay, so now we have a little doubt between A and B, right? Now let's read the. Okay, Karmanya, you said it's A. Can you give me a reason for choosing A?
Basically, I thought that first of all, imitate means to copy. So the tendency to copy, that means it shows that Indian art is more superior, that Japanese art has to copy from Indian art.
Tendency to copy most Indian art is dash Japanese art, superior to Japanese art. Okay, did you read the entire sentence?
Yes.
What is the last, say, the last part of the sentence, what does it say? Or maybe even from here, where symbols have been minimized and the meaning has been conveyed by using method of merest suggestion, right? So what does this suggest? That there could be
It
some
has more to
similarity
convey and-
between the two, and this is a similarity that messages are conveyed through mere suggestions. It is not very clear. So something is there, but it is not clearly stated, right? So something that is implied. So symbols have been minimized, meaning has been conveyed by using method of mere suggestion. So in this case, would you say imitate and superior to? Or would you say understate and reminiscent of? So if we say because of its tendency to understate, now when we say understate, this is what comes in. The symbols are minimized and messages are conveyed through a method of, say, merest suggestion, right? And reminiscent of, that is say Japanese art is also something which uses this method. Yeah. So because of its tendency to understate, most Indian art is reminiscent of Japanese art. So there's a similarity between Indian art and Japanese art. So B will be the correct answer. Got it? Yes, Kamanya, did you get the reasoning correct now?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Okay, number 6. This is quite simple. Yes, Pahi, what's your answer to number 6?
Evade. C.
Evade C. Okay. Anybody with any other answer? Nishi?
Ma'am, I didn't got this one.
You didn't get this one. Okay. Let's see why you didn't get it. We will come back to you. Manya?
Ma'am, option C, evade.
Option C, evade. Okay, Nishi, what was the problem you faced over here? Why was it not clear?
Ma'am, I don't know. I couldn't figure out what could come here.
Oh, can you read the sentence aloud?
Irony can sometimes become a mode of escape. To laugh at the terrors of life is in a way to dash them.
So it says irony can be a mode of escape. So through irony, you can say get through with or escape from some say grave circumstances, right? Then it says, now it explains it. Now if you see there's a colon over here, what does that imply? That there's an explanation after it or an additional information. So to laugh at the terrors of life is in a way, so this is an example of what has been said. Irony can be a mode of escape. To laugh at the terrors of life is in a way to dash them. So would it be bolster, approve, foster, or avail? We are talking about escaping from something. So
it cannot be avail, approve, because these are the opposite words.
Yeah.
And not even foster.
Bolster would be to aggravate something.
So it's only evade left.
Only evade.
Yeah.
So evade makes sense over here because you're talking about escaping certain things through irony, and to laugh at terrors of life, you would be evading them. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Number 7 now. Nishi, you did number 7. Quite a few words maybe not very familiar with, right? So did you get the answer to number 7 or you left it be? Yes, Nishi?
Ma'am, I did, but I'm not sure about
Okay,
it.
doesn't matter if you're not sure. What answer did you choose?
I chose the third option.
That is C. Acrimonious.
Acrimonious.
Okay.
Is the question missing a comma? Because I think there should be a comma before deteriorating.
Could be. The negotiations of the deal were often surprisingly dash, deteriorating at times into a volley. Yes, there should have been a comma. Not really. You can add a comma. So it maybe gives a little more clarity. Right? Okay, so Manya, what's your answer to number 7?
Ma'am, I did not get this one.
You
I
did
don't
not
know the
get this.
meanings of the options.
Okay, the meanings of the options were not clear. Anybody else who got the answer to this? Karmanya, what's your answer to 7? Did you get it?
I did not attempt it.
You did not attempt it. Good. So you did not attempt it because maybe you were not familiar with the words.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, that's a wise thing to do anyway. So now let's look at this one. It said the negotiations for the deal were often surprisingly dash, deteriorating at times into a volley of accusations and counter accusation. Now, one thing we know that we are not looking at a very positive word. Yeah. Now, is it deteriorating at times into a volley of accusations and counter accusations? So it is something which is not very clearly stated, maybe, or not or maybe there is negotiations for the deal were often surprisingly dark. Maybe they were rigid, right? So now coming to the words over here. Insouciant. Insouciant would mean casual. You can write down the meanings. Casual, or there's a lack of concern. So would we go with that? We will go through the other words first. Sedate. What does sedate mean? That's a word we do come across.
To give someone a drug to
Yeah, to keep calm. Like the cheetahs were sedated so that they could be flown in, right? Acrimonious.
Angry or something?
Not really angry, but it is like formal, something which people don't want to change, that sort. Yeah. Propitious. Propitious usually means something that is favorable, or maybe a condition that is propitious would be like it could lead to success of a particular thing. So this would be favorable. And adequate, that of course everyone knows. Yeah. So negotiations word adequate we will not go with. Yeah, let's work backwards. Now when we say adequate, that doesn't really work over here. Now, would we say that the negotiations were casual or did not show much concern? Would it fit in? There was a volley of acquisitions and counter acquisitions. Means the people wanted to change something and other people didn't wanted to keep it as it were. So this will not go. Sedate, of course, the negotiations were calm. Doesn't make sense. Propitious, favorable. If they were favorable, then everyone should have been satisfied. There would be no accusations or counter accusations, right? So the only word left is acrimonious, which means formal, rigid. Yeah. Okay, number 8. Any answer to 8, or this became a little too difficult?
Mediocre.
Mediocre. Okay, it could be. Any other? What's the meaning of mendacious? Anybody knows? Any idea what the meaning of mendacious is?
Something about like lying or
Yeah,
not
it's
telling
lying.
truth or something.
Lying, not truthful. Yeah, mendacious would be lying. Putative. Putative would be something like reputed to be. He was reputed to be good or reputed to be notorious, something of that sort. Vicarious. I think vicarious you have come across earlier also. Any idea what vicarious means? You can knock on your gray cells and figure out what vicarious means.
I'm intuitive.
Hmm?
Intuitive.
Intuitive. Not really. What else? Can you get some clarity into it?
Somebody has done it all, like we say, live
Yeah,
vicariously through.
it has felt or experienced everything, sort of. So has knows everything. Yeah, that way. So in this case, a dash student is unlikely to gain admission to a top level institution. So somebody who knows everything would gain. Somebody who is mediocre would not. Somebody who is mendacious. Now, if somebody is lying, would that be the top priority? So when you are choosing students, you will see whether the student is capable or not capable. Now, commerce doesn't really go in, right? Mediocre will be the answer. Okay, number 9. Either Japanese dishes are dash or the one I had was a poor example. So what would it be?
Overrated.
Overrated, yeah. So this one was quite simple. It's overrated. Okay, number 10. A person who is dash is slow to adapt to a new way of life. What type of a person is slow to adapt to a new way of life or is not able to uh, take in change? Yes, anyone did this or did not complete? Yes, Karmani, you did it?
I could not get this one.
You could not get this one, okay. Aditya?
Yes, ma'am. I think it's insolent.
Insolent.
I think I
Okay.
may be wrong, but
No, doesn't
Is
matter.
it A?
A, intractable. Okay. So we have insolent, we have intractable. Any other answer? Adesh, what's your answer? Could you get it?
Doing.
You're doing it. Okay. Prita, where have you disappeared? Yes, Prita. Are you there? Prita doesn't seem to be there. Okay, Tanvi, did you get the answer to this?
No, I didn't get this one.
No, didn't get this one. Okay, these are quite
Could
now
it be option C?
option C. Insolent. Okay, let's see. It says a person who is dash is slow to adapt to a new way of life. Now, what does insolent actually mean?
Rude.
Hmm?
Rude.
Insolent, rude. Hmm,
Not showing respect to someone.
could be rude, not showing respect. Okay, so what does intractable mean?
Hard to deal with.
Hard to deal with. Okay. So somebody who does not like change, what would be the closest to that? Now, if you look at insolent, it would actually go into something like not accepting others, or rather, yeah, it is more of lacking respect or rude. So, would a person who is rude, it does not adapt? Not really, right? But so when you say insolent, that would not really fit in. Because you won't say a person who is rude or does not respect others is slow to adapt to a new way of life. Would it fit in? Yes, I want you people to respond. Feeling sleepy, bored. Yeah, so insolent will not go in. Now, constructive doesn't really fit into the sentence. A person who is constructive is slow? Not really. If a person is constructive, it will be the other way around. Furious, insolent would be more or less the same thing. No. Valiant, would that fit in?
No.
No. What does valiant mean?
Someone who has courage and is determined to do something.
Yeah. So now the only option left is intractable. And we already discussed the meaning of intractable. What was it? What was intractable? A person who is who doesn't really go in with change, or who is inacceptable of things, who is difficult to deal with, right? So intractable is your answer here. Okay, now you have 11 from 11 to 20 you have 10 more questions here. Now you will time yourself and do these for homework, right? We've done 10, the other 10 you will be doing. Now we'll move on to the next part. This is also sentence completion, but a little different. So these are like you may get one blank, two blanks, and in maybe in some of the exams that you would be appearing for, they could give you an entire passage with, or maybe a passage with 5 blanks or 6 blanks, right? So a bigger passage, yes?
Can we get a break for 5 minutes?
Yeah, of course. Sorry, I forget about the break. Yes, you can take a break for 5 minutes. We'll come back at 45. Okay. Thanks for reminding. Hello? Everyone's back? Yes, everybody, can we get back to work? Hello? Yes, I think we've got a 10-minute break. We need to come back to work. Yes, hello, welcome back, Karmanya. Nishi, Pritha, Adesh, are you all back? I don't see you. Yes, Pahi, Tanvi, Aditya, you are back at least. Okay, so now we will move on to the close passages, right? Now, when you've done close passages in the 10th and in the, I think even in the 11th, 12th, you have them, though in the 11th, 12th, we don't focus on English. So what do you mean by closed passages? Is just a bigger passage with blanks, right? So now what's the strategy for the closed passages? Anyone? Now more or less is the same. You have to get the context. You have to first read the entire passage, right? That is one thing. Unless you read the entire passage, you will not get the main idea of the passage. And secondly, you have to look into the keywords and clues. And that's very important. And other things like the grammar, the tenses, vocabulary, etc., as we did in the other fill in the blanks. And the tone will also be taken into consideration, right? Whether it's critical, sarcastic, humorous, narrative, whether you need a positive word or negative word. So all those things will come in. And yes, when you're talking about a big passage, whenever you are looking at, say I want to answer number 2. Now, when you're answering number 2, if you see, it's a short sentence. We need the context from the previous sentence and from the next sentence, right? So you will not answer any question only on the basis of the blank that is given to you. In a closed passage, the entire passage is important, right? So we'll just do a few examples before we move on to timing ourselves. Now here again, if you see, you usually will get a passage with 5 blanks. And maybe sometime in some of the exams, they don't give the entire passage in one go. Or they may give the entire passage also, but your options may come in different questions. Maybe only the first 2 lines are given for one question. Next 2 lines are given for the next question. So becomes a little complicated, but if you keep your focus, you will be able to answer properly. Okay, now can we answer this one? So our first thing is to read the passage, right? So if you read the passage, we first come to know what is it about. Yeah. So it says much has happened in the intervening years. It has become, now while you read, what else do? You underline the keywords. Yeah. So in the, it's talking about intervening years means there's a period of time, the beginning and the end. It has become harder dash to discern the true meaning of human cloning. So harder to discern the true meaning of something. We have in some sense been softened up to the idea. So softened up to the idea through movies, cartoons, jokes and internet commentary in the mass media, some serious, mostly lighthearted. We have become dash donation and surrogate pregnancy. Something about donation and surrogate pregnancy. Now, if you see the sentence before this talked about softened up to the idea through movies, etc., etc. Animal biotechnology has dash transgenic animals. So biotechnology has maybe brought in or produced and a dash science of genetic engineering easily transferable to humans, right? So something to do with technology. Even more important changes in the broader culture now make it dash to express a common and respectful understanding of sexuality, procreation, nascent life, family, and the meaning of motherhood, fatherhood, and the links between the generations. So, what is the main idea you get of this entire passage? Yes, Adesh, can you tell me what is the main idea you get of the entire passage?
No idea. No idea, ma'am.
No idea. We just read it. You must have picked up something at least.
I am reading it by myself.
Okay. So anybody who followed what we read, Peter, what would be the main idea of the passage? Yes, Peter, can you please respond? Your video is also off, so I don't know if you're there. Okay. Okay, Manya, can you tell me what is the main idea of this passage?
Ma'am,
What is it talking about?
I think it's centered around cloning and just
And it is
it's like a mix of everything because
hmm,
they're discussing animals as well, animal cloning, human cloning,
yeah.
other things like
Anything else?
yeah.
It is talking, it begins with talking about accepting something. Yeah, accepting surrogacy, donation,
Right, yes,
right?
yeah,
And then it goes on to talking about technology, how technology has made these things possible,
right,
right?
yeah,
And then it goes on to say that changes in the broader culture. So
yeah,
some changes that have taken place which have helped us to accept or be respectful to such things.
right.
Okay, so now coming back to the blanks. Yeah. First one, what would be the answer?
I think option B, not easier.
Option B. Okay, let's see. It has become harder, not easier. So not easier would be the opposite of harder. Yeah, to discern. Yes, option B could be taken. Not softer will not go. Not easy. We are not now. If you see if you talk about the sentence structure, not easy will not go in, but not easier will, because that will be the parallel structure, right? Okay, blank number 2, anybody? We have become dash donation and surrogate pregnancy. And the previous sentence talks about we have in some sense been softened up to the idea through
That's that.
hmm? Accustomed to, right? It could be accustomed to. Now, would we go with aware of? Now, what would aware of mean in this case? We have become aware of means would mean that we know about it. But in this case, if we say soften up to the idea, it would be that we are accepting it or being accustomed to, got used to it. Yeah. Now, careful of and kept on will not be the answer in this case. Okay, next one, number 3. It has grown, yield, given, yield to, and flow. So what would be the answer here? Number 3. Animal biotechnology has dash transgenic animals and a dash science of genetic engineering easily transferable to humans. So animal biotechnology has done what about transgenic animals, or what to done has? Would it be grown, given, yielded to, or flow? Even if we look at the tense, you can eliminate some of them. Has animal biotechnology has grown transgenic animals? Not really, yeah. Has given rise to, that is yielded, or has produced, would be a better way of saying it. Given doesn't fit in. What does yielded to mean? We have yielded and yielded to. Yes, anybody? What's the meaning of yielded to?
Help the whatever animals they were, and that means to support their growth, I think.
No, here we are talking about, we are just asking, I'm just asking you what is the meaning of yielded to?
Yielded means to give out as a product, and yielded to means to acquire to someone's demands.
Yeah. So given to something, and yielded is to produce or to manufacture, give rise to, right?
Yielded to give in.
Yeah. So what would be the correct answer in this case? Animal biotechnology has dash transgenic animals and a dash science of genetic engineering. So has yielded transgenic animals and a dash engineering. What in engineering has it done? Would it be strange, marching, becoming, new? Which one fits in? Burgeoning? The sentence is, now the first one we have already got. Animal biotechnology has yielded transgenic animals and a dash science of genetic engineering, easily transferable to humans. So, and some development of science and genetic engineering could be, right? Or a growth in, or say maybe a breakthrough in, something of that sort, right? So would strange fit in? No. Marching? Doesn't really. Becoming? Does that make sense? Yes, I want you people to respond, not just keep quiet. Tanvi? Okay, Pahi, what do you think? Which ones would you eliminate?
New will also not fit in.
Okay.
I guess burgeoning.
Burgeoning, right? So do you know what burgeoning means? Have you come across this word? Something is burgeoning into this. So something which is, yes, Aditya? Growing or developing quickly, right? So in this case, burgeoning would fit in, not the other words. So if we plug it back into the sentence, it says animal biotechnology has, what was the word? Yielded transgenic animals and a burgeoning science of genetic engineering, easily transferred. So it is a growing science, something which is developing fast, right? Okay, now number 5, one more blank left over here. So we have, even more important, changes in the broader culture now make it dash to express a common and respectful understanding of sexuality, procreation, etc. So broader culture, changes in the broader culture now make it dash to express a common and respectful understanding. So what word would go in? Make it easier or vastly difficult? It wouldn't be difficult. Yeah, we would strike out difficult.
Yeah,
Manageable, attract. Now it should go in grammatically also. Grammatically, attract doesn't fit in, right? So can anyway in meaning also it doesn't. Surprisingly, does it fit in?
No.
No. Make it surprisingly to express makes a sense. Yeah. Make it easier to express would make sense. So we have much easier over here. So manageable to express doesn't really fit in, right? So eliminating A, C, E, and D, you've got B as the answer, right? Okay, there's another passage over here. You can quickly do this. So here again, you read it and tell me what is the passage about. There was the main idea of the passage. So everybody read it? So what is the main point of this passage or the main idea of the passage? Yes, Nishi, you were saying something?
Ma'am, how the organization or a company focuses on the customer and how important a customer is basically for a company.
Yeah. So it is basically, if you see, there's a shift in some policy. So some policy changes are being are being mentioned. Yeah. Okay. So keeping that in mind, you can answer the questions 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 blanks. So if you see, there are certain transition words which will help you in determining what the blank would, what word you would be filling in, right? So, but it's getting dashed to stand out through the product innovation alone. And the advantages when they occur are becoming more ephemeral. So we come to the second differentiation tactic. So what is it getting to? Is it getting easier or manageable or difficult? or tougher? What's the answer to number 1?
Difficult.
It is getting difficult. Now, what are we looking at here? It is getting difficult to stand out, or would we compare something? Would it be a comparative adjective?
Okay, it should be comparison.
Yeah. So now instead of difficult, we can go with tougher. Now it is getting nowhere. We won't take. It is getting manageable would be opposite. It is getting stronger doesn't really make sense. So tougher, right? Then if you go on further, now are becoming more ephemeral. What does ephemeral mean? Anybody? What's the meaning of ephemeral? So ephemeral means something which is there for a short period of time, or transitory, or it could be momentary. Yeah, something which is not there in the long run, or not something which is permanent. Okay, now blank number 2, this approach. Now what is this approach? It is sharpening organization focus on customers. Yeah, this approach can help the company dash itself in a number of ways. So from creating new products or services specific consumer for specific consumer segments. So what can it help in doing? It can
reinvent.
Reinvent. Now, if you say reinvent, this approach can help a company reinvent itself in a number of ways, from creating new products. Now, if it is reinvent, okay. Now, if you look at the previous part, sharpening organization focus on consumers. Yeah. So what is it trying to do? It is trying to do something which makes it stand out and be noticed, rather than over and above the other companies. So would we go with reinvent, or would we go with distinguish itself?
Distinguish.
Yeah.
Distinguish.
But helps a company distinguish itself, it doesn't make grammatical sense. Rather than like comparison with reinvent itself. So I think it's more appropriate.
Yeah, that's also true. But if you look at it now, from creating new products or services for specific consumer segments to personalized things. Now, if you look at the next sentence, a dash in emphasis from products to customers can be challenging, as it may entail something else. Okay. So approach can help a company now distinguish itself. Why would it be grammatically incorrect?
Because the word doesn't make sense. Distinguish itself. Like you distinguish yourself from competitors, but nothing else mentioned here.
You are distinguishing yourself in a number of ways, or reinvent yourself. Let's see. Now, if you just say reinvent, because they are of course talking about creating new products or services, but would just reinventing themselves be enough to in this context? What is the company trying to do?
I'm not debating over whether distinguish right or wrong. It can be right, but I'm arguing that why can't reinvent be wrong? Why can't reinvent be?
Reinvent could also be right. Now we have to see which one is a better choice. Yeah, when you have two choices which are very close to each other, analyze a little more and see what in the context of the passage, which one would be better. Now the sentence is already saying they are like from creating new products or services to specific consumer segments or personalized services. Now, would it be just reinventing themselves and sitting there, or would it be like they want to get stronger? Right? What is the purpose of doing this? Just to reinvent, or to be standing out in the market, right? So I think in that scenario, distinguish would be a little stronger option than reinvent. Got it? It is a little confusing because reinvent also fits in absolutely well. And even when they're talking about creating new products, reinvent makes sense. But in the context of the entire passage, if you look at it, I think distinguishing itself. So why is it reinventing itself? It wants to distinguish itself. Okay, got it? Okay, now number 3. A dash in emphasis from products to customers can be challenging. So shift, rise, call, progress, formulation. So we see a dash in emphasis from something to something. So what would you say? Yes, who has the answer?
Shift.
Yes, shift. So you are shifting emphasis from one to the other. You will not go with rise, call, progress, or formulation, right? Okay, number 4. The sentence is, as it may entail dash changes in the company structure, process, and ultimately culture. So what type of changes, right? So it may say many, slow, format, fundamental, small. What type of changes? Now here if we talk about, it may entail dash changes in the company structure. So something of concern, something important, right? Processes and ultimately culture. So a lot of things need to be changed. So would you say small changes? Not really, right? If we would say small changes, it wouldn't be very important. Format changes doesn't fit in grammatically. It would entail format changes. You are changing the format means you are bringing about changes. So format doesn't really. Slow changes, we are not looking at slow changes. We are looking at something which is important. Now, what do we have left? Many and fundamental. So would it be many or would it be fundamental?
Ma'am, many sounds much informal.
Yeah, many sounds informal and it is not very, like here we are talking about changes in company structure. So processes and ultimately, though they are talking about quite a few fields in which changes need to be taken place, but we won't say many changes. We would like rather say some important changes or fundamental changes, right? So in this case, fundamental would be the answer, not many. Okay. Okay, number 5 now. What's your question? Nonetheless, even industries that have relied primarily on product innovation are dash the importance of gearing the organizational process more directly to the needs of end customers. So what is it saying? Even industries that have relied primarily on product innovation. So product innovation they have already done. Now what are they going to do? Or dash the importance of gearing their organization process. So they are what? They maybe have realized or they want to do it. Let's see. Are showing, discovering, trumpeting, getting glimpse. So what can we eliminate? Would you say showing are showing the importance? No, right? So earlier the companies were focusing on something. Now they are shifting their focus onto something else. Yeah. So trumpeting. What does trumpeting mean? To announce or to tell people about. So would they be telling people about? No, right? Glimpse. Does that make sense? It doesn't go in grammatically either.
Yeah, it doesn't.
Glimpse or glimpsing, no. Are discovering or are getting. Now, just getting is a bit too informal or a bit too light on the sentence. Discovering could be. So let's put discovering back. Read the sentence with discovering. Nonetheless, even industries that have relied primarily on product innovation are discovering the importance of gearing the organization process. That fits in perfectly, right? Okay. So this is the basic. So when you're dealing with closed passages, what are you doing? First important rule. Who will give me the first important rule? Or maybe whatever comes to your mind.
Getting the theme of the passage and what the
Yes.
passage is based on.
Getting the theme of the passage. Secondly, getting the tone of the passage. Yeah. What is the passage actually like, and getting to the transitions. Transitions are important. Yeah. And lastly, looking at the words so that they fit in, eliminating, and your word should be fitting in grammatically also. Fitting into the meaning, solving the purpose. And when you have two words which are very close to each other, what would you do? Two words very close to each other, like we had reinvent and distinguish, both seemed correct.
Putting both of them in the sentence and checking which one fits better.
Yeah, so which one would go with the meaning or the purpose of the passage? Yeah, so you analyze a little further, right? So keeping these in mind, we will go on to the exercises now. So we'll do a little bit and say here we have 3 blanks. We are beginning with the 3 blanks ones, which you've already done. And then you can go on. Now, usually in the indoor IP mat, you will get a maximum of 3 blanks. But other IP mats, you can get more longer passages like these ones, right? So now looking at the 3 blank ones, we can do the first 5. Okay, try number 1. If you get stuck, then you can look up the meanings. So of course, in the exam, you will not have the option of looking up meanings. Now here, remember there are 3 words. If you don't get the first one, now okay, when you have 3 blanks, another thing you have to keep in mind is maybe you can't, maybe you don't get the answer to the first blank in the first go. What do? You can work backwards. Read the entire thing and figure out in your own words what each blank could be filled up with, right? Then you go on to the words in the options. And here again, you have to see whether it's a negative word or a positive word, right? And then looking at the blanks, maybe you can fit in the last one first and then move backwards. But any option you choose, all 3 of them should fit in. Yeah. Okay. So this one, anyone got the answer so far?
C.
C.
Yes,
Okay. Everyone thinks it's C? Yeah. So the dash difficulties produced by the marriage dash prompted some intense dash in Eliot's poetry. So we are talking about Eliot's poetry. Yeah. So now the dash difficulties, sentimental, adjustment, familial, or emotional. Now we don't really know. Let's look at the second one. Produced by the marriage dash prompted some intense dash in Eliot's poetry. Intense what in Eliot's poetry?
Ma'am, it's just a third blank that I have a doubt in because nothing best in it.
So we are talking about Eliot's poetry.
Yeah.
So what do you talk about Eliot's poetry? Mistakes in his poetry?
No.
Remarks in his poetry?
Remarks or smiles could also be an option, right? But the first two blanks only fit with the option.
Yeah. So now if we look at the third, we can eliminate a lot of them. We can eliminate mistakes. We can eliminate remarks. Right? Now he won't be now he's writing poetry. When you're writing poetry, it could be passages or say verses in the poetry or stanzas in the poetry. So passages would come in, right? Smiles in poetry doesn't really fit in. So now even if we eliminate all the others for the third blank, we come back to only one. So evidently prompted and emotional difficulties, those do fit in, right? Okay, now let's look at number 2. This is something closer to economics. Let's see if you can get it.
I think it's C.
D or C?
C.
C. Okay, let's see whether it's C. Okay, everyone has solved it?
I think it's blank too. Second option.
Either B or C.
Second option.
Yeah.
B or C. Okay. Now, if we look at the, say, the third blank, yeah. Now, are grouped under 3 broad headings: production, dash, and consumption. So we are talking about producing something, consuming something. What else can go in? Now, exchange doesn't, does exchange fit in? Could be. Exchange could be. Production, supply, consumption also could be. We are not sure about the third blank, right?
The first chapter of economics deals in this para. We have this in right Savoy. The 4 activities.
What were the activities that were described?
Distribution, exchange, and consumption. So distribution is not there.
Distribution is not there. So exchange will be there. Yeah. Now you have 2 with exchange. Either it could be C or D. Yeah. Now we go back to the second one and the first one. Economics engage in dash inquiry. What type of inquiry? Would it be pragmatic inquiry or systematic inquiry? It will be systematic because it is based on certain theories and certain laws. Yeah. The pragmatic would be, we could use pragmatic if it says that, okay, you just formulate your own theories and try to figure out things on your own. Yeah, but here it is not the case. So systematic will go. So we have systematic and engage. Pragmatic we are ruling out. So yes, C could be the answer, but still we look at the other blank. Into human effects of inquiry into the effects of those human dash which are grouped under 3 broad headings. So human what? Human? It would now if you look at this also, attributes will not go. Activities could be. Function, human function, not really. Right? So C is clearly your answer. Got it? Any confusion in this? No, right? Okay, let's look at the number 3. Taipei is the capital, largest city and dash dash and industrial center of dash. So the last one, Taipei is of Taiwan, right? It wouldn't be of the world.
I think it's option D.
Option D?
D.
Are you sure about it?
D, yeah.
Okay, let's see if it is option D. So anybody else who thinks it is option D? Educational, commerce. Now, if you see, educational and commerce doesn't go, it doesn't have a parallel structure, right? And D says educational, commercial. So Taipei is the largest city and educational, commercial and industrial center of what? Of Taiwan? We will go with Taiwan, of course. So D will be the correct answer because the words are in the correct format that we require. Right? Okay, now let's look at number 4. It says eclecticism, from the Greek eklektikos or selective, is a practice of dash elements dash in style in a dash work of art. So what are the keywords that we can figure out in this particular sentence? It's talking about eclecticism, which refers to selective or selectivity, and is a practice of dash elements dash and style in a dash art of work. Right? So we need 3 attributes. Okay?
Ma'am, I think it's option C.
Option C.
Yeah.
Practice of dash elements in something style. Practice of mixing elements, or we can say uniting elements. Now compost will not go, right? That doesn't seem. Converging elements, dash unlikened styles in a likely work of art. No, that doesn't make sense. So we are eliminating D. Now C says mixing elements diverse in style. They could be diverse in style in a single work of art. That could be. Now if you look at B, in a solid work of art, A says a vague work of art and D says likely. So obviously if you just look at the third blank, we are eliminating A, B and D. What are we left with? We are anyway left with C. So it is easy to eliminate the third blank, right? We eliminated things which are not, which don't make sense, which are not relevant to the particular sentence. So mixing elements diverse in style would make sense in this case. Okay, now look at number 5. What would the answer be? Now, if you look at the first blank itself, are you able to eliminate some of the options? Right? It is a dash held belief that dash and productivity are a function of dash or a set of new equipment.
C and D.
Between?
C and D for the first option.
Confused between C and D?
No, I'm saying we can eliminate C and D.
Eliminate C and D, yeah. So you will, it would not be a blindly held belief or a recently held belief. Yeah. Now between closely and commonly, then we go into the next blank. Held belief that dash and productivity. So what goes with productivity? Would inefficiency go with
Quality.
productivity?
Quality.
Yeah.
Inefficiency
Quality would,
opposite.
right? Inefficiency would be opposite. If there's inefficiency, productivity won't be there. Or a function of dash or a set of new equipment. Or a function of, now technology would go in. So we have eliminated B anyway. We are left with A. Got it?
Ma'am, I think it's the opposite.
Oh, sorry. We were eliminating inefficiency. So sorry. So our answer is B, right? Commonly held belief that quality and productivity are function of technology, right? Okay, now we have 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10 over here. I think you can do these, right? Okay, just I think 5 more minutes. We'll move on to the next exercise. These are longer closed passages, similar to the ones we did, right? So you'll be able to do these. Now exercise 2, 3 and okay, only 2 and 3. So these are all closed passages. Options are given to you. Here a set of words are given for exercise 2 and 3 and exercise 2 and 3. So now you, when it comes in the exam, it could be either this way where a set of words are given and you have to choose the correct word for the blanks, or it can also be that options are given for each of the blanks as we did earlier. Both the types of questions can come up. Okay. So now would you want to try at least test 1, the first passage?
And we have to do test 1 and test 2 both or only one?
First do 1.
Okay.
If you finish it, then you can go on to test 2.
Okay.
Done with number 1? So you just have to choose the correct word from the given ones. So number 1, what would be? Other nations have received their laws from conquerors. Some are indebted for a constitution to the suffering of their dash through revolving centuries. Yeah. So it says suffering of their who?
Ancestors.
Indebted to suffering of their ancestors. Yeah, that could be the answer. Okay, number 2, the people of this country alone have formally and dash chosen a government for themselves and with open and unlimited consent bound themselves to a social compact. So the people of this country alone have formally and dash chosen a government. So what would go with formally?
Deliberately.
Deliberately, that is, they know that they have been doing this, they are voting for people. Yes, deliberately would go in. Okay, so now number 3, here no man dash his birth or wealth as a title to honorable distinction or to sanctify ignorance and vice with the name of hereditary authority. So what word goes in here? Anybody? Manya?
Proclaim.
Yes, Karmanya? What would go in?
Proclaims.
Proclaims. So here no man proclaims his wealth or birth or wealth as a title. Yes, that would go in. So this would be F over here. Let's write it down. So number 1 was D. Okay, number 4. He who has most dash.
Felicity.
He who has most
I think
felicity.
it's zeal.
Hmm?
Zeal.
Zeal. He who has most zeal. Okay, what is the meaning of felicity?
Happiness.
Happiness, right? Or some the mindset to do something.
Mine should come as felicity. He who has most zeal and ability to promote public service.
So
I think it should be
felicity,
fifth blank should be zeal. Ability to promote public zeal. And that,
public zeal.
yeah. The fifth blank should be zeal and the fourth one should be felicity.
He who has most felicity. Now, first, happiness and ability to promote what? Promote public dash, let him be the servant of public. So, what are you doing to the public? Are you making them zealous of and getting them to do something, or are you satisfying them and making them happy?
Should be satisfying them. And
Satisfying.
So, do we have satisfying?
Yeah, I think we do.
We don't have satisfying, but we have felicity. That is, you
Yeah.
can make them happy, extremely happy. Yeah. So felicity can go in fifth blank, and he who has most zeal, that is person who has the ability or the inclination to do something, right? So I think A would go in here.
Ma'am, for 2, G is the answer, right?
For 2, yeah, G could go in. G was what? Deliberately, yeah, deliberately chosen, right? Okay, leave the bird of night to the dash for which nature intended him.
Obscurity.
To leave the verb to. Now, what are we left with? We are left with proclaims. No, proclaims we used. We've used proclaims. So what are we left with? Obscurity and boldly. So leave the bird of the night to the obscurity for which nature intended him. Yeah, obscurity will go in over here. Yeah. And expect only from the eagle to brush the clouds with its wings and look dash in the face of sun. Look boldly in the face of sun. That makes sense. Yeah. So this is just about a metaphorical statement which is describing the previous or the concluding the previous paragraph. So got this? Yeah. So anybody who has done number 2 and those who haven't done can do them. So exercise, so test 2 of this and exercise 3 you can do, plus the questions that were left which haven't been done of the previous one, right? So now you know how to go about these, how to eliminate even if you don't know the word, yeah, how to eliminate. Now if you have 3 blanks, you don't go into each one of them separately, you eliminate using 1 blank and come to at least maybe 2 options are close to each other, then you eliminate the second or the first, whichever is easier to eliminate. Got it? Right? So any doubts now so far? So we did, now the types of questions you have done, there's a broader types of questions you have done are, of course, you did some vocabulary questions. You did grammar questions, that is sentence correction. And this was sentence completion, right? So you will be expecting about, say, 4 to 5 questions on sentence completion, 4 to 5 on sentence correction. So this is very important. Keep practicing, and you will be getting more later on. Now, after sentence completion, our next will be para completion. There's also a very important question, and that takes a lot of time. So in sentence completion, now you have to work on your timing. Okay. So the previous, from session 11, whatever is left to do, complete it. And when you have one blank or two blanks, try to finish it in 30 seconds. 3 blanks take a little longer, right? The same process of elimination, analyze when you have two close options, analyze carefully to get to the right answer. Okay. So any doubts so far? No? Okay, great. So I would expect more doubts from you all. And if you come up with doubts, then I'll know you are practicing. Right? So I'll see you next week with a new chapter. Till then, thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am.
Welcome. Thank you, Rekha ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.